Hey everyone, we've just got some huge news for the One Piece trading card game with a lot of reveals for our alternate arts for our leaders for set 9, including a bunch of new support cards to go along with them. Some we already knew. Starting off with Lim, we already saw this 9 drop here, but we get to know what style the alternate art leader cards are going to be in. This big head style portraits that we've got in OP-06. You know, I personally am more of a fan of the OP-07 style with more of a colorful background, you know, a scene, you know, showing off some more characters, etc. But these do look quite nice. I think it fits some characters a bit better than others, but let me know which style you like in the comments. Of course, let's get into this. We've got a lot of cards to go through as we start seeing more support for set 9 rollout. Of course, if you don't remember, Lim, 4 life, 5k power, Odyssey. And this is an interesting leader because all of your characters enter play as rested and activate main. Once per turn, you may return or rest 3 of your Dawn. Sorry, rest 3, not return. Rest 3 Dawn, set up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as rested. Then play a cost 5 or lower Odyssey type character from your hand. So 3 Dawn rested to ramp 1 and play a 5 cost. Again, it comes in rested, so who knows if this is going to end up being good, but interesting leader, some decent ramp, and a way to get some higher cost characters out on the board a little bit faster. You know, on 3 Dawn, you're going up to 4 immediately and then playing a 5 cost. Pretty decent. Next, we've got Nico Robin. I think this is some pretty cool portraits for headshots so far. I like it. You know, of course, Nico Robin being a 4 life, 5k power leader, purple yellow, just has banish. And then when attacking, you may trash 1 card with trigger from your hand, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as rested. So pretty interesting. And if you can see this on the left, this new card for support is kind of crazy. This is a 6 cost, 6k power character, 1k counter Nico Robin. And it is on play. If your opponent has 3 or more life cards, trash 1 card from the top of your opponent's life. And then also trigger play up to 1 cost 3 or less yellow character from your hand. Doesn't specify any archetype, just any yellow character 3 or less. Does yellow, you know, she is purple yellow, so only yellow cards, obviously. But this is kind of crazy going along with the banished leader. So if you're going first and you get to your 3 Dawn turn, you're starting to swing. If they counter out of it and stay at above 3 life, unless they're Vegapunk and don't heal with Vegapunk's ability, you know, if they counter out of that first swing and then you ramp up to 4 Dawn on your 3 Dawn turn, then the following turn you're at 6, you just play this out. So no matter what, they are trashing the top of their life card. It's essentially banished no matter what. So if this is in your hand from the beginning, your 3rd turn, you're getting rid of 1 of their life to the trash no matter what. I think that's pretty crazy, you know? Like, if you're defending your life, giving up cards out of hand to do so, you're getting punished for it anyway the following turn, and then it's a 6k body as well. I like the style for this. I'm still not a huge fan of just the portrait style leader cards, but I do like these so far. I do like them, and I like this one even more. This Shanks, I just love it. I don't know, it just got that intimidation. The Ben Beckman card has been confirmed that's on play, trash up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a power of 6k or less. I just don't know if there's many 6k power threats that are so pressing that you would use all 7 Dawn to respond to. For example, if your opponent played out like a Sabo, yeah, that's a threat, but you can't respond to it immediately afterwards. With this would have to be the turn after to wait out the Sabo effect, you know? So I don't really know what 6k bodies you'd be so pressed to play out your entire 7 Dawn for. I don't know if this is the best full 7 Dawn play, but it is, you know, pretty decent, I guess. Next, we've got Blackbeard. I do like this leader card. This is nice. I like this. And yes, that is a 10 cost character on the left, 12k power. It is a blocker and a lot of other text to go into it. I do like that leader card. I don't know if I'll be playing Blackbeard. He does seem like one of the more interesting leaders out of the set. Of course, negating your opponent's on-play effects for their turn if you trash a card during your turn, and you don't get any on-play effects yourself. Very interesting leader for sure. Next, we've got Luffy, the purple black. I think this is probably my favorite leader card out of the bunch. I feel like it works so well with the pose they did for him. The artwork just looks fantastic, just fantastic. And we've got interesting leader ability that works perfectly with this Sanji we've got right next to us. Luffy, 4 life, 5k power, purple black. Don ×1, your characters have +1 cost to help with those mirror matches with any black deck, making things a little bit harder to KO. And then during your turn, once per turn, when 2 or more Don cards are returned to your Don deck from play, set up to 1 of your Don from your deck as active and set 1 as rested. So whenever you return 2 Don, you get those 2 Don back as 1 rested and 1 active. And you'll see why with this Sanji card. This is a 7 cost, 7k power character. 1k counter, and then on play, you may return 1 or more of your Don cards from play to your Don deck. This character gains rush for the turn, then rest up to 1 of your opponent's cost 6 or lower characters. That is a lot. That's a lot. And the fact that it's 1 or more means this can be played in the Nico Robin leader. We're just returning 1 Don, but if you choose to return those 2 Don, that works perfectly with the Luffy leader because it has to be 2 Don for the leader, and you'll be getting 1 of those Don back. So on play, you can swing 8k with this as a rush card. That is kind of crazy. And 6 cost, I would say that's probably one of the highest blockers that you're gonna see, but that Blackbeard 10 cost blocker is already kind of making that not true, but still pretty decent rush card. 7/7 stat line for a rush is pretty good. Resting a card as well as 6 cost is pretty high. And again, we're not really getting any downside to this effect if you're playing it in this deck. Next, we've got Buggy. I absolutely love this card. I love it so much. Buggy is just such a fan favorite and one of my favorites as well. And I just feel like the portrait, it just works so well when they get decent selection for what pose and facial expression they're going with. I just think this works so perfectly. And then we've got a new 7 cost, 7k power crocodile character to go along with him. He is a blue character, OP-09, 7 cost, 7k power, special, cross-guild, former Baroque works. 1k counter. On play, play up to 1 character card with the cross-guild type or a type including Baroque works of a cost of 5 or less from your hand. So we know Buggy's effect is rest 5 Don, trash a card from hand, and play out a Baroque works type character of any cost. So on 5 Don, we can discard a card, play out this 7k body, which plays out a 5k body. That is going down pretty high in hand size. I must have to add. We're discarding 1 from Buggy's leader ability to play this out on 5 Don to begin with, and then we're losing 2 cards in hand from Crocodile and playing out another 5k body. So our hand size is going to go down pretty fast in this deck. So I'm hoping to see some support that helps us draw a bit or maybe recur things from trash. We have the 7 Warlords package with the Gecko Moria that lets us take back a 7 Warlords 4 or less from trash. So maybe something similar to that, or something that lets us draw, because our hand size is going to be a problem with this leader if you're using this ability more than once. It's not once per turn too, so it is tempting at 10 Dawn. You can use this leader ability twice to play out 2 10 costs from hand, but that is 4 cards from hand that are no longer in your hand. The 2 that you're playing out and the 2 you're discarding. So Buggy is going to have to worry about hand size a lot, but it is an insane way to get out high cost bodies fast. Love to see it. Next, we've got a new 10 cost Shanks character, 12k power. The effect reads, all of your opponent's characters have minus 1000 power, and this has rush. So this, coupled with Shanks' leader ability, means you essentially have a free 2k against 1 attack, and then all of your opponents have minus 1000. It's not an insane 10 drop, but it is pretty good. You know, a 12k rush body is decent, and it comes with a little bit of defensibility. You know, whenever we're playing out a 10 cost, you have to be in a pretty safe spot to do so anyway. So you're probably going to want to have a few characters on board already for this to get the full effect. I do like that it isn't just on your opponent's turn or on your turn. It is just the entirety of the time that this card is on the board. All of your opponent's characters have minus 1k power. So it's a great way to try and clear board. Like I said, if you have a few other characters on board to swing in with, you know, you play this out and then everything just is a little bit easier to swing into. You are losing all of your 10 Don, whereas, you know, maybe that Don mathematically could just work a bit better, but you are establishing a 12k body that has rush. Now on to this 10 cost 12k Blackbeard blocker. That a 12k blocker is actually insane. And it reads, activate main once per turn if your leader has the type Blackbeard Pirates, and if this character was played on this turn, up to one of your opponent's leader effects are negated for the rest of the turn. And then after this, up to one of your opponent's character's effects are negated until the end of your opponent's next turn. And that character can also not attack. It's, that's a lot. That is a lot. You know, there aren't too many leader effects that I can think of that I want to negate by my 10 Don turn. Especially if I'm just playing out like a 10k body. It is, you know, if your opponent's Bonnie, you know, they can't rest anything. So you can safely swing in with any other bodies that you have on board and then establish, you know, you're establishing a 12k blocker, which helps defend as well. You know, the Shanks won't be able to give -1 to your leader. So I guess you would be able to play this down and then swing in for 5 and they wouldn't be able to get that free save. But not too many leader abilities that I think this really goes after, you know, because that leader ability would have to be in response to something you're doing, you know, because it's just for this turn. The character not being able to attack is pretty good, you know, freezing a character essentially and establishing a big blocker, great way to stall out the game. And then negating their activate main, their effects, right? Thinking if, you know, again, if you're going against Bonnie or any green deck, if they have a kid, like an 8-drop kid, that's essentially useless. They can't turn it sideways. They can't use it to block anything, you know? There are definitely probably some use cases for this. It is also just insane that we see a 10 cost 12k blocker, you know? And again, just going with the theme of all Blackbeard's cards of, you know, no on-play effects, you know, so it's interesting to see how they work around this gameplay wise. But again, that's all the cards we have so far and the reveal of the alt art leaders for set 9. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Are you excited for this set? Are you excited for these leaders? Are you going to be collecting any? Which leader are you most excited about? I know I really want to check out the Gear 5 Luffy, Nico Robin, obviously. Shanks looks cool. I think this set has a lot of cool leaders to play, and I'm very excited to check it out when it releases for us over here in the West. We'll have to see how it plays out. Some of these leaders seem very interesting. Again, some new gameplay mechanics with Blackbeard. You know, our Odyssey leader, Lim, playing out everything rested seems a little bit weird, unconventional. So I'm interested to see how people try to crack the decks. But again, let me know what you think about all this down in the comments. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, because I'll be definitely covering all new card releases as they come out. And I will see you all in set 9. Bye-bye.